the screens that you'll see when you're accessing the actual retail energy code itself. We'll look at personalization and the user dashboards for when people log into the REC portal, and we'll also look at the change management screens, and then obviously wrap up again at the end. Just to remember, there's no such thing as a bad question. There's loads of different ways to contribute. We'll get the mural board up and running in the chat, stick your hand up, or email us after, a number of different ways to put the viewpoints across, and all thoughts and viewpoints are welcome. Excuse me. And just a reminder, the competition law disclosure, just to remember that all discussions are subject to this. No sharing of commercially sensitive information, no discussions on pricing, margin, or business strategies. And with that, I'll hand over to the team for looking at the digital rep. And
Lovely.
I'll try and get my voice back.
Yeah, have some water, John. Just quickly before I hand over to Maz, who's going to go through the digital rec screens, just want to put out a little reminder that we're still running our prototype testing, our remote online test. Let me just drop the link in the chat. We've already had a really good amount of responses, but just if anybody hasn't quite had the opportunity to do that yet, we're going to be closing it on Friday. And this is the prototype test looking at users' preferences between a top bar navigation and a sidebar navigation. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance, please do give it a go before Friday. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. But yeah, be good to have as many people as possible. And with that, I'll pass over to Maz.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to take you through some of the concept designs for the interacting with the digital rec. Can I just get a quick just let me know whether you can see on my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, so this is just a prototype. We have been going through the screens in a bit more detail with our analysts as well as with our developers, just to make sure that it's meeting some of the requirements you guys have set out. With everything, we're working in an agile project, so things are going to be prioritized. So not everything you may see make it in production, but we'll keep a positive mindset. Let's say that everything you do see and anything good you see is going to be developed, but it is still conceptual at this minute in time. We'll start with the home screen, but we'll come back to that in our later tasks about the home screen itself, and we'll focus on interacting with the actual rec. There's a few ways to access the rec. Actually, sorry, before I begin, what we'll do is I'm going to share some screens with you guys, and then I'll hand back over to Emma, who's just going to take you guys to Mural. And at that point, you'll have your chance to put any comments. And feel free to come off mute to ask any questions at that particular time. But I'll just run a quick demo in the meantime. So there's a few ways to access the rec. In this sort of format view, you've got a quick access link here to digital rec. On the side menu, you can come here and you can nice quick shortcut to the rec. Or we've created this new rec documents menu sort of page where you come here and then you can access all the different sub-navigations of the digital rec itself. So in here you can see your category 3 documents, your process maps, operation documents. The content on this page is still to be revised, but it's just an example of the different access points you can have to access various information related to the rec. So you'll have your key journeys as well as any related resources. So let's go into the digital rec itself. Now, I think I've shown this screen to you guys before, so it might not be, or for those who've been on our previous calls, but what I've done now is started to think about the ways you can actually interact with the rec and how you can actually search. So let's come back to search in a moment. I'm just going to interact with the rec first. So on this particular page, these are now links, so as opposed to having those very small icons, which to open the rec itself, the actual link, actual titles are links to the page. However, if you do want a quick shortcut to preview the rec, the schedule in a new tab, or to download the file, you can come over here in the ellipsis and select which two options you want. Yeah, to download if you want that shortcuts. You can also pin any of these schedules to the top. So this is an example of the rec main body. I've pinned it to the top, therefore, as a logged in user, it's going to appear at the top of my screen. Also trying concepting the idea of whether or not you have notifications switched on per schedule. It's just something, it's a proof of concept right now. But if you are only interested in certain schedules and you want to receive notifications related to those, then this is just an indicator whether those are switched on or off. Okay, so let's go into the main body itself. Now, so this is just a bit of an updated design, but I'm sure you've seen previous iterations of this. So you have the ability to download the files, so download again, preview new tab, or download as a Word file. You can subscribe to receive notifications, whether that's email or within the portal itself. And at the top here, you can also select a version. Now, I know that it was mentioned that the importance of selecting a version. I'm just going to show you how that potentially could work. So by default, you'd always see the latest version. If I click select version here, I can then change the rec version or the schedule version. If I select, let's say 3.9, and I hit updated, you can see that this is now superseded. What would happen is the page will refresh and all of the content will now show 3.9, but this is just a prototype where you're seeing 3.10. Now to go back, you can click on this, you can go back into select version and then select again, or we'll create a little shortcut so you can just quickly go back to the latest version. Okay, that may not have worked, so sorry about that. Okay, so the other bits of, that's how you select a version. Now, if you go down the page, you have these, for each clause, you have options. So in this options, you have the ideas to sort of flag a section. And if you flag it, we'll just sort of change to this alternative color tone at the background. And you'll also get an icon. So it just gives you a personal way to, flag certain content that you may be interested in. You can copy the text. That will simply do a copy rather than having to select all in a clause and paste. You'll have a little shortcut, and then you can copy the link address in case you wanted to share that with one of your colleagues. There may be other ideas, and again, what we'll do is we'll go to the mural, is give you the ability to sort of select, to tell us what other options you may like, or whether you like these options or not. The next point I wanted to discuss was about glossary. So one of the pain points we identified, or from your feedback, was that the site opens any glossary terms in a little modal, which is a little light box appears on your screen. The feedback was that it's quite difficult to read that in context to the paragraph itself. So you wanted a better way to sort of display those. So something that we've come up with an idea is that I kept all the text black, so it's same readability, but all of the like it is today, anything that's underlined will have a glossary term associated to it. So if I was to click on metering, you'd get the glossary, and the explanation of that inline, so it doesn't stop your reading. So as you can see here, you clicked on that one, and I can simply open and close that, so it appears within your text, so you can continue to read. Now, if you wanted to select a second link, and you've not closed this one, what we could do is two options, and I guess again they'll be estimated by developers. But if I was then to click on centralized registration service, the first one will close, and then you'd see the glossary for this. However, if you feel there is a need to have multiple glossaries open all at once, potentially we could look at it'll come down to your user needs. Okay, so this is just a quick way of how you'd interact with the glossary on the page and certain parts. Let's now move on to search. So whenever I try this current search in the site, it doesn't seem to work for me. So it's clearly a pain point, and something that we'd want to be updated. So if I was to use search here, let's see. So that's great. Doesn't want to work today, even though it was just working for me a few minutes ago. Let me just quickly show you an example of a search on my design file. Okay, so let me see if I can just, there you go, this here's an example. So if I search for supplier. Then in my navigation items, I can now see all of the search results. So this is in all of these clauses, the term supplier appears. And I can literally click on any of these to sort of move the text along. Essentially what we'll do is display the full rec. So, you know, other clauses are not hidden, but you can have anchor tags to take you to navigate to the various sections, and you can see the word supplier is highlighted. So it's quite a standard search. And then you here you're also considering the option of an AI assistant. So you've got Ask Erin. So this content is from Ask Erin. So it just gives you a bit of an explanation at that particular time of what supplier may mean. And if you have a follow-up question, then you can interact with Ask Erin. This section here is sort of locked to the left-hand side. So as you're scrolling up and down this content, this is designed to be locked, but it's, you know, you may have multiple views. It's just a prototype, but you should be able to scroll up and down this section here as well. But for those accessibility needs, for those who may struggle with scrolling, then you have the options to sort of move up and down this scroll to meet those accessibility needs. And then if you simply want to clear this and go back, fingers crossed this one works. Yeah, there you go. And you can go back and you can clear the search. Okay, so that's how the search works within the rec itself. Now, let me just go back to the previous screen. Okay, now if you wanted to search across all schedules, then you have a search function here on the main digital rec screen. And now if I search for energy license, this will work almost like the search results screen that I may have shown to other people or in a previous call. So you will have, it will tell you in terms of all of the different schedules where the search results, also for example, energy license appears. Whether it's a keyword or anything more advanced, that's something for later down the line to see how advanced and how good we can make the search. But if I search this one, it will tell me energy license appears in all of these schedules. I can then filter the schedules to say, okay, only show me these ones. And then these are the search results. So it will say to you in the rec main body, it appears in this particular clause. And you can kind of tell by the tagging. And if it's a long list, then you'll have the pagination. And then if you want to clear the search and just go back to the full view, you just hit the clear search button. Okay, I think that's the first part of interacting with the rec. I'll hand over to Emma, who will take you to the mural board.
Lovely, cheers, Maz. Let me just drop the link to the mural board in the chat with everyone. It's the same one that we've been using for the last few sessions, but I'll just give people a moment to join. I will also share my screen. So you should be able to just join the mural as a guest. You don't need to put any details in. I'll just wait until I see a few more names pop up and let me know if the link isn't working for anybody.
I'm getting a page not found on the link. I don't know if anyone else is.
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah, I'm getting a page not found as well. While we're resolving this, a question on the user bleep survey. I just noticed clicking on it that it doesn't load in, well, not at least my version of Microsoft Edge. It works fine in Chrome, but for some reason it doesn't load at all in Edge. And it might be just I'd need to update my browser, but just be aware that some people might have the same problems that I do.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard that before, so that's actually really useful to know. We'll see what we can do about that. In terms of the mural, let me reset the link. Maz, are you able to access it?
No, I'm getting the same page not found as well, even though it was working fine beforehand.
Yeah, Okay, bear with me. Let me just create a new mural and copy and paste it all in.
If you need a few minutes, I can move on to the homepage.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't take too long, but that's probably a good idea. Just get this sorted.
Okay, so hold your thoughts or make notes, and then we'll take you into the mural board hopefully soon. But I'll share my screen again, and I'll take you through the next parts of the demonstration today. Okay, so activity 2 was so we started looking at the homepage as well as your personalized dashboard. Now, the homepage is for all users, those who are familiar with the site and those who may be first time on the site. It may also be for people who are consumers, who are not familiar with the rec, or somebody who wants to actually join as a rec party. So the homepage is sort of designed as a more of a welcoming screen, whereas the dashboard is very much designed for you and the type of content that you want to see, and that's going to be helpful for you. As someone who logs in, you'll also have the option to sort of stay signed in for maybe like 30 days. So every time you come onto the site, the first thing you would see is the personalized dashboard as opposed to the homepage. But we've got the homepage content, and what I've done is we've added a nice sort of hero in here. We're promoting search because one of our goals is to really improve search and navigation, and to allow people to search through the different sites. We have your latest news and updates. This is not going to be targeted, so it's probably most likely to be the most latest articles on the page. We have recent change proposals. I believe that's on the current site. So we have the latest 3. In here, if you do try to hit the bookmark icon, it will prompt you to log in, because if you need to add something, because it's a logged in feature. As you come down, we have services like consumer services or the consumer hub, which just when we looked at navigation, our hypothesis was that we don't think consumers may easily find that content. So actually having a section on the page which is just helpful energy customers just may enable them to get there faster, and actually find that consumer hub, because for us it wasn't quite intuitive enough to say I'm going to go into the site, go into like Laundry Center and find Consumer Hub, and find the content that I need. So actually having a promotion for those users who are looking for this information would help. And then we have links to external services, so anything others related services like the CSS or EES, at the bottom of the screen. Now, one of the things once hopefully the mural is working, we'll ask you what you actually think of the homepage and what kind of content either you would like to see or you notice by interaction with customers or general things of what people are looking for as a new user. Whether or not the last 3 change proposals is useful to you, is 3 irrelevant, is a good number, is it too few, or do you want to see upcoming releases? So what would you actually like to see in this particular section? Okay, now let's move on to the login area. So if I come in over here, you see there's a few links on this particular side. So it's just those services, those links are related to you being logged in. So if we logged in, we went onto this page here, make sure we click on remember me for 30 days. So, you don't have to stay signed in all the time. And then this is the concept design for a personal dashboard. So in your personal dashboard, you should see news and updates that is relevant to you. You should see your upcoming events, things that you've registered for. There may be some promotions, for example, like last week's team engagement day. It's just an opportunity for CMS editors to add in content that they think is worth promoting. Within the dashboard area and navigation, you can go to things like change proposals, and you can see things that you've saved, any sort of, change proposals you've saved, anything that's recommended based on your user profile, and that's something that we're going to be working on a little bit later. But if we know who you are and what the type of subjects you're interested, your interests are, then maybe we can recommend change proposals for you to review, and any change proposals that you may have submitted, and whether those are in a submitted state or may even be in a draft state. Something that I showed in the sidebar before was quick links as well. So with that, you might want to manage your quick links as well. So in the menu, you can have up to 10. Let me just show that works. No, prototype's not quite working. You can have up to 10, but you can add as many favorites as you like onto the site. And what you could do is sort of drag and drop things that you want to be in your quick links. So your top 10 will appear here, and it will be easily accessible from the left-hand menu. And then you can add more favorites here in case there's more pages you want to see. And we also have recent links. Okay, so some of the feedback that we got from our previous users showcases was that you want personalization based on your role. So what I like to do in activity when we get into Mural is to tell us what content that is. So tell us what your role is, and based on that role, you want to see this X or Y content. And that's going to make things easier for you. So what are the things you'd expect to see? And so that's a good time to hand back over to you, Emma, if you think the link is working.
So we're just working on the access. So I think Mural have changed their guest access rules. I'm trying to invite people via their email addresses to join the Mural. If not, we might need to just sort of open things up for discussion, or alternatively, people drop their thoughts and opinions into the chat.
I've just tried doing a completely new one. I don't know if that will work in the chat.
Yeah, I was able to access that link.
That works, yeah.
Are we in?
Cool.
Brilliant.
There you go. Phew.
Great. Well done, Sam.
That's all right. I just literally created a whole new one and set the access up from the start.
Amazing. Okay, fab. In that case, if we jump back to the digital rec that Maz just showed, and as you can see, as usual, we've got various sections with post-it notes. So we'll be really interested in hearing your initial thoughts on the new digital rec pages, what you think is working well, if there's any pain points that you might come across, or also any ideas of how we can improve things. I'll give people a moment just to jot their thoughts down. There is also a specific question at the bottom with some blue post-its. Actually, let me share my screen so everyone can see what we're looking at. A specific section around the definitions, and this is something we're really keen to understand people's views on. Definitions being when you have a sort of a glossary and you click on the word and it opens up a little definition about that, what that word means. What I understand, is that useful? Is it useful to be able to open multiple definitions at one time? Would you only want to open one? Do you just not want to see any definitions at all? Keen to hear people's thoughts. So we'll just give people a moment to jot some things down.
Emma, you might want to copy across the other activities while trying the exercise. Yeah.
Excellent point.
I'll have to do that one. So shall I copy over activity 2 now, or I was going to wait until we'd finished activity 1?
I think we're okay just to dump it all in. I might be able to copy.
Okay, if you can do it, perhaps you can do it. Give it a go.
Yeah. Okay, I think maybe we can start going through to some of the feedback. So we had, in terms of what works well, has some comments around looks visibly easier to understand, can see all the schedules in order rather than sprawled out. Somebody said, I like having the list of schedules and the search function next to each other. Documents being in a clear list is easier to find the relevant document. Like the idea of the expanding glossary, you do need to be able to see multiple definitions, so if this can be implemented, that would be helpful. Part, chapter, section styling, keep numbering visible at all breakpoints. Stakeholders express they benefit from the ability to download PDF versions of the document. Just jump into a pain point. Someone's pointed out please get rid of the different menu options for operational documents, service specification, just make this part of the digital rec. These are all part of the rec, and you should be able to search across all rec documents, not just rec schedules. Questions. Someone's questions and comments. Somebody's commented there probably isn't one correct way of doing this. We have a question, will the AI be moderated? I worry AI might misinterpret or give incorrect information. And someone's also thumbs that one up as well around the use of AI. We have, can it be demonstrated how links, references to other paragraphs, documents, data flows, etc. can be opened? And again, another one around AI safety. If we're looking to use an AI search on those pages, or any pages for that matter. I don't know, Maz, if you've got any thoughts on some of the comments that have come out of there.
Yeah, so some really good points being raised. I think I'll take the question about the digital rec being showing the operational documents and service specifications. I think it's a bit more of it's a bit too technical for me personally. So I'll just speak to some of the experts within the business to judge that one. But that's something that we will take away. The AI assistant tool, it's just the basis of Ask Erin, but we will be reviewing that as a later epic to review the data and to see how useful it is. What we may also do is add I think it may have the feature now, but a thumbs up and a thumbs down, and whether or not the tool can progressively learn more and then therefore provide better responses in future for users is something that we will take away. But yeah, some really good feedback. I think I saw a comment about that it would be useful to see definitions in the document as well. Yeah. So good. But if there's anyone in the business that may want to answer that question, feel free to jump in.
Lovely. Okay, so conscious of time, I know it took us a while to get the mural up and running. If we want to move on to the next activity, which is around homepage, personalization and the dashboard. If we first start off in this top section next to the homepage view, we're really interested in understanding what sort of content you would like to or expect to see on that homepage when you initially sign in. So if I give people a moment to jot their ideas down, just any thoughts in general, that'd be great.
Now I do want to force everyone to see.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if you can't find where we are, I've just asked to be followed. So it's just under activity 2 in the homepage. Lovely. I think just pause a little bit on the writing. If anybody has anything else, please do jot it down as we go. But if I call out a few things here, so we have somebody wrote, could be relevant to constituency, i.e. gas transporter news, potential industry-wide news, a lot of stuff around news and articles, links to other pages, news and events, calendars. Somebody has mentioned that company news might be good as well. So information from Reco to a relevant organization. You know, that's based around who you are, your login, and making it a bit more of a personalized experience. Filter everything to the user's rec party IDs and portfolios. So again, catering a bit more towards specific users depending on your logged in state. Live chat to speak to service desk operator. Got the homepage being dynamic depending on when. So for example, in the aftermath of change, so key changes in the current release. We've got things around having people's favorites or most visited and recently visited pages. Someone's just jotted down around a deadline, being aware of upcoming deadlines that need to be aware of. So around performance assurance and change. Also the search bar. So a quick sort of way of searching the site. These are really, really good ideas for us to consider and take away with. Lovely. So moving a little bit further down, I can see people have already started filling stuff out, which is great. So this is around sort of personal dashboards and what people would like to see on their dashboards. And the idea is, you know, we're considering making these configurable so people can choose what they want to see on their first homepage or their personal dashboard, should I say. So first of all, we have a question here. So what would people expect to see as a logged in user? We're then also interested in understanding, would people want to be able to add profile pictures to their account? So say you have an account, you can upload a profile picture. Also within the rec itself, perhaps when it comes to changes, if somebody's a lead analyst, there could be a picture of who that lead analyst is. Yeah, interested to hear people's thoughts around whether they'd want profile pictures or not.
Yeah, profile pictures is useful on sites where you are sharing content between each other. So if you are adding somebody, if you're tagging somebody to a particular change, then you may want to select their profile and see their picture as well. But also, as Emily mentioned, if you're looking at a change proposal, and rather than just having the lead analyst's name and the person that raised it actually having their photo, might help in that situation as well, just for that more level personalization. But yeah, completely up to you.
Lovely. And then underneath, just in those yellow boxes, we have some more stuff around what types of links and contents or information you'd want to be able to add to your own dashboard, as well as how you might want to personalize notifications. So what sort of alerts would you want to be able to toggle on or off? Would you want any notifications? How would you like to receive them? Is that via email? Would that be in the portal, or would that be both? I'll just give people a moment to sort of explore each of those 4 questions. But we've got some really great stuff down already, so that's brilliant. Okay, I can see people still typing. Feel free to carry on, but I'll start just running through some of the comments we've got. So in terms of what we expect to see as a logged in user, so we've got interest to see how notifications work. Is the secondary menu anchor links, or does it load new pages or even new content or components? By that, I'm assuming we mean this one here. I like the graphics for code releases and change management, how they work. Good question. Does the news not? Sorry.
It is a conceptual design for now. It is something that we will explore to see if it's relevant for people to have that, how potentially we may be able to make that work. If not, it may be part of a future release.
Yeah, cheers, Maz. Does the news and updates module link to a page/section?
Good question. Yeah, we'll see whether or not we will have a full news page which is personalized for your needs, or we link it to the actual, like a proper news page, so you actually have a full detailed news. So yeah, that's something still to be explored, but we're quite nice to see what people would like to see.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have some comments around like seeing news that only you're interested in. So again, making it more personalized. Maybe what working groups you're a party of. So this would be useful to keep in touch with how things are going, such as finding meeting documents. We've got alerts and notifications. So notifications being smart and not spammy. We obviously know at the minute people can have hundreds and hundreds of alerts in their inbox. That's definitely not what we're proposing, but a way of tailoring them more to each specific user and having the choice of what notifications you'd want to be engaging with. So changes flagged or followed, performance assurance deadlines, registered events, news relating to party type, and service desk ticket log. I like being able to see flag changes. This would be really useful. We have a question, does my dashboard replace the homepage when I'm logged in? I think that's a really good question, and it's something that we're currently sort of looking into. I guess it's probably a question we'd throw back to the user group yourselves. When you log in, do you want to be taken straight to a dashboard? Do you want to be taken to a more generic homepage? Sort of thing we're really interested in hearing. Maz, I don't know what initial thoughts or conceptual thoughts we were going with.
Yeah, we had a conceptual thought that if logged in, the first thing you would see is your dashboard, rather than the generic homepage. But yeah, it's very much down to users as in the user group to say that that is what you want to be your default screen. So that is if you bookmark the dashboard, so the homepage, and then you go to your dashboard if logged in, and if you've been signed out, for example, then you'd automatically go to the homepage.
Yeah, and then we've got organization information. In this case, if there is a data cleanse we're being asked to do, it'd be good to have insight here too. And consultation guardrails, i.e. you haven't commented on X, closed in 48 hours. And that probably ties in with some of the notification stuff. Sorry, I'm jumping across, but so that sort of notification, modification alerts via email and the portal. Want to be able to choose how and how often I receive them. If I choose email, want to be able to choose a once per day email, except for urgent notifications. That's in line with quite a few things, isn't it? So even Teams, I believe you can decide if you want to get email alerts to any missed notifications, and also the period of which you want to be alerted to. So we've got an example of the type of notification. So 5 clauses you followed or changed / become effective on 1st November. Can frequency of notifications also be made configurable? So again, that ties in quite nicely with this other comment around, do you want it once per day, once per week? Definitely something to consider. As long as notifications are not like DCC ones, then I'll be happy. And the new/change obligations that affect your party role. Fab. If we then jump into some of the other personalized comments. So is quick links the same as in the menu? Is it the same as favorite/bookmarks? Maz, I don't know if you want to give a quick overview of the current thinking.
Yeah, so in your side menu, you would see a link at the bottom which says quick links, and in there will contain your 10 quick links, and then within your dashboard areas where you can manage what those quick links are. So if you wanted to reorder those, or you wanted to shift something that is maybe in your favorites but didn't quite make the top 10, and you just want to drag and drop it into your top 10, then it would be the same. It's just where you configure those.
Yeah. We have things around making it dynamic, so i.e. market entrant guided checklist, so containing core obligations, artifacts, templates, and then explainers alongside authoritative text / onboarding progress. So this is really catering to the different sort of experience level of the different logins, which is really good. Performance assurance deadline, submissions outstanding. I'm assuming that means deadlines, unless red lines is something I'm not aware of. But since last login, consultations closing, citation generator, evidence recertification queue. We have a list of any open requests for information as another piece of content people would like to see on their dashboard. Quick link to open consultations, and then widget catalog for self-personalization. And yeah, that ties in with the thinking of, you know, potentially having a configurable dashboard where you can choose what sorts of things you want up front, and each person can tailor it to themselves. So if I just jump into the thoughts around profile picture. So I think in general, people feel it should be optional and follow quite a similar format to Teams. So you have the opportunity to upload a profile picture, but if you choose not to, you could have something there, just your initials as the default state. And we have comments around that with a few likes. But then other people say it's a good way to indicate that you are logged in. And yeah, we can see, you know, once in a logged in state, you'd have your profile picture pop up. But yeah, feelings are around making sure that it's an optional rather than a mandatory thing to be able to do, which is useful for us to know. Lovely. Does anybody have any final thoughts or comments to make around the screens that Maz has just demonstrated? We'll keep this mural open as usual, so if you do think of anything else, please do just feel free to go in there and jot it down. For the final 10-ish minutes of the session, we're really interested in discussing a little bit about the change screens and change management screens. So if I just ask people to follow me again, just in case people are getting lost. We have discussed change management before, and above here, we have the outputs from those discussions we had from Showcase 2. But what we're really interested in doing is just really honing down onto a couple of the specific screens, particularly the change register screen and the sort of change information screen where you get the overview, you have original submissions, all the documents. It'd be really good if people could take a moment to again jot down what they think works well in the current screens, what the pain points are, any ideas for improvement. I'm conscious we ran through this exercise with some of the code managers recently, so feel free, guys, not to repeat yourselves. We still have all of your feedback, but yeah, if I give people an opportunity to jot stuff down. As I say, these are the two main screens we're looking at the minute. We also do have boxes for the other change-related screens. We're not going to run through those individually in this session, but if anybody has comments they want to make against any of the other change screens, then please do provide that for
Will
us.
we be keeping this link open so that I can
Yes.
circulate it to the wider group anyway? Yep.
Yeah, but this link will be open for people to fill out in their own time. It's great. You can see a lot of comments going in. We're also aware that people have different levels of engagement with the change process, and also what that engagement looks like can be quite different depending on if you're a code manager or a rec party. So we are very much looking to run sessions with both code managers and sort of external stakeholders as well to ensure that we're getting the different perspectives needed. And yeah, as mentioned, if anybody has any comments to add around the other change screens, I'm not going to go through every single one because there is quite a few. But if there's anything that really sort of comes to mind that you're like, oh, that would be really good to improve upon, or this is something that I really like how it works, please do make a comment. And yeah, we'll be leaving this link open. Great, so I can still see some people writing, but I'll just start running through some of the things that we're hearing around the change register screen. So in terms of what's working well, we've got, can see the changes. There's the ability to search. It's great to be able to sort and filter. You can view issues and changes from the moment they enter the process. The ability to search the change register by number or by a word in the title should be retained. So that's definitely something we'll bear in mind. Can filter by the impacted party as well. In terms of some of the current pain points we have, feels a bit redundant at times as changes uploaded often have little to no information. I appreciate that it's due to the nature of the code, but it still is a pain point. Yeah, that makes sense. It's actually something we've had in some discussions around, as you can see, sort of the empty fields against some of the different changes that go in. And then downloadable change register isn't updated as often as the portal itself. Yeah, so from here, download change register, that's what that's referring to. In terms of ideas, it would be good to be able to sort by the date raised. Would be good to filter by who raised the change as well. Someone said basically more filters if possible, just to really help hone down those searches. And links to key areas of the change. That's quite an interesting one. Lovely. And then in terms of the sort of change overview, change information page, in terms of what's working well, contains sort of generic information. Chevrons quickly show stage or the progress of the stage, of the change rather. Progress bar is good, but could be better visually. And someone's writing there around good level of detail or summary of the change and the impacts. Pain point wise, we've got sometimes not easy to locate current position on the change. For example, current versions of legal text. Changes not being updated in a timely manner as things have progressed. Too busy and off-putting. I'm assuming that means in terms of the page design and the content. Too many documents, not clear which are the most recent document and which are older versions / archived. We've got not clear where the approved version of the legal text is. Need to go to this page to raise an alternative. Would be good to do this through the change proposal form as well. Not too sure the relevancy of the urgency score. Can use my brain as to what it means, but it's not relevant to lots of parties. More consistency in wording such language would help. And layout is pretty poor and confusing. So definitely things that we'll be looking into improving. And ideas make more structured around each phase of the change process, so you can go to current stages and know that correct set of documents, and navigation to impact assessment and consultation when a change is that stage. So yeah, we're definitely looking into how we can better identify the journeys and link different parts of the site together to ensure people aren't having to figure out how to jump around themselves. Questions, comments, can specific changes be tagged so that you can receive notification if that item is updated? That's a really good point, and definitely something that we've been looking into, or Maz has been looking into, around flagging content, flagging changes, choosing which changes you want notifications for. Obviously, people aren't going to want, or I'm assuming people won't want notifications for every single change, but if you can pick which ones are relevant to you, definitely something we're looking into. So lovely. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. And as I say, we'll leave this board open. I can see some people have jotted stuff down around next to the change portfolio and release management. So yeah, if there's any other thoughts that come to mind, please do come into here and put them in there. Conscious of time, I think we got some really, really good stuff out of this. It was a very mural heavy session, but we definitely had quite a few different areas that we wanted your input on. So yeah, once again, thank you for that. Maz, I don't know if you've got anything you want to touch upon before we close the call.
No, that covers everything. Yeah, if you've got any feedback on the sessions as well, how they're going, then yeah, feel free to let us know or let John know.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Maz. Thanks, Emma. I'll just do a quick wrap up for everyone. Thanks again for joining. I'll obviously publish the recording of this session on the community page, and I will circulate the link in an email just for everyone who was unable to attend today to populate any feedback into the mural. We start the design, build and test phase on the 1st of November. So we're planning for this at the moment, and we're going to schedule in some more sessions now. We're going to try and put more of a a plan in place of what areas we're going to cover, so people can join along when we're looking at the areas that are relevant to them. We'll obviously have the regular drumbeat of these calls, but we'll also be interacting with users on a kind of one-on-one or small groups basis. So we'll reach out in the next couple of weeks on what's happening in that phase, and I'll start planning the sessions for this for that period. So all exciting stuff. Any questions or feedback that we've not covered today, just email us, recportalrelaunch@retailenergy.co.uk. That's it. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.